Hello YouTube faithful, this is Lucius Prime coming at you with another Transformers toy review. And as always, as you can tell from the intro, this one is about Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Tankor from Beast Machines. A little bit of backstory about this version of Tankor real quick. He came, much with like a lot of the other Generations figures, came with an IDW comic explaining that he was actually currently in the universe with the Decepticons and the Autobots and wasn't just a Viacon general by Megatron from the Beast era. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get to the review. And here we have Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Tankor in his, well, technically vehicle mode, but not really a vehicle at the same time. He is a Cybertronian tank, so he's going to have all kinds of interesting kibble because, again, you know, on the planet Cybertron itself, they are not worried about being robots in disguise. So here's actually a good depiction of a decent Cybertronian mode. Obviously, the kibble is like right here, his head, his hands right there. Whatever these buzzsaws are, which he never used in the animated series. But yeah, I mean, it's quite obvious, you know, for all the kibble and everything like that. He rolls decently enough. A little bit more about him, like how I was doing there in the intro. I mean, he's actually from Beast Machines. He came with a comic that actually explains what he's doing in the, well, explains that he's currently in the Generations universe, which is from the IDW comic. Without being a Decepticon himself, he is in the employ of the Decepticons. Formerly Rhinox from the Beast era, he appears to be a completely separate entity than he even was in the Beast Machines animated series compared to the comic, so I'm not sure if he's the same character, actually the same character or not, but he looks the same, has the same name, and he seems to be about as intelligent as Rhinox was, you know, this version of him in the comics, as opposed to how he was in the TV show, you know, before Rhinox was, by the way, spoiler alert, before Rhinox was, shall we say, reawoken in Tankor's body. All in all, compared to how he looked in the series, I actually love this vehicle mode. It's very accurate, and wait until we see his robot mode. But speaking of robot mode, let's go ahead and get to it, shall we? And here we have Tankor in his robot mode. The Viacons were more meant to be drones as opposed to bots with actual personalities. Though in Beast Machines, Megatron found it difficult to handle all the Viacons and decided to give 3 of them sentience. So what he did is he recycled the sparks of 3 different bots and implanted them into Tankor, Thrust the motorcycle, and Jetstorm the jet. As I mentioned earlier, Tankor was actually Rhinox from the Beast era, Thrust was Waspinator, and Jetstorm was Silverbolt. Again, spoiler alerts. But robot mode, this is still also very accurate to how he looked in the series. Can adjust the cannon so he can either be aiming at you or doing whatever. Really cool feature I liked about him is his hands, or claws, because on the inside they are on a gear that if you were to pull on one, you see the other one opens up along with it. And, much like with all the figures from the Generations line, something that we all know and love, he has light piping, but if you notice, the light piping is not as clear as it is in a lot of other figures. It's actually got a little bit more solid feel to it. It's not as transparent, it's more translucent. But shine a light up to it, and his eyes still glow. So that's always really cool. I really don't know what all to say about this figure. I mean, I can remember when I first saw him, I had to have him because I loved Tankor, I loved Rhinox. He is neither Autobot nor Decepticon, though in this case, I guess he could be considered a Decepticon, even though he's got the Viacon symbol right there. Essentially, he's a slave. He's a slave to Megatron. But, you know, he's got a really simple transformation. He actually does not really have any kibble in robot mode. You know, none to really speak of anyways, I guess you could say. And, well, all in all, I really do love this figure. He's a great figure for the collection. I know not a lot of people really loved the Beast machines, but, you know, he's just interesting and unique to me. All in all, I'd actually give him an 8 out of 10. And there we had Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Tankor. And we are now getting into the final countdown on this particular series of the Transformers that I'm doing, my Generations figures. And we are beginning a countdown to the next series that I intend on getting in. And here's a little hint. Tankor was kind of a hint towards what my next series I'm going to be reviewing is. Anyways, as always, thank you for tuning in, and this is Lucius Prime. I will be at you again soon with another toy review. And until then, until all are one.